Hello traders, and welcome to a new video on a new indicator from Binance. So today we are going to be looking at inflow outflow data, but this time I can actually give you guys this data for free and it updates every single 5 minutes. So let's dive in. Before this, if you want alpha like this and other market advantages, you can click the link in the description below to join our Discord. Okay, so this data, I don't know exactly when Binance added it, but I will show you guys how to use it. So what you're looking at here is the coin auction to USDT. You can see it has 3 pairs on Binance. Now, for this data to work, it actually doesn't even matter if it is margin tradable or not. You can see we have a 5x and a 3x right here. That means that you can margin trade a coin. For this strategy to work, you can use any coin at spot because Binance gives you this data. So what data am I talking about? Well, inflow outflow. You look here at the 24-hour large inflow. So this is looking at the larger players, how they're depositing and how they're withdrawing from this. So if you look here, you can see that the current 24-hour net change is plus 46K. That's not the same as other, auction BUSD and auction BTC. That's because this indicator, you can see right here, this indicator is not an indicator of total auction being deposited and withdrawn from Binance. It's actually something even more helpful, like very, very helpful. This is showing you what's being added to be used on this exact pair. So what I mean by that is imagine that a whale deposits a bunch of this coin auction into Binance and then puts it all into auction USDT. He doesn't add it to his auction BUSD wallet. Well, if he does that, then this would increase, but this would not. Okay? So let's go into how can we trade based on this, because there's a lot of really cool things you can do with this constant updating indicator. First of all, inflow outflow. Whenever there's a bunch of inflow, that's typically pretty bearish. That means that a bunch of these tokens are being added to this to here, which typically means that supply is higher. Now, when supply is higher on an exchange, that typically leads to a sell-off. So if we can see here, you can see we had a jump at about 18:15, and we also had a jump a little bit later at about, I think about 20 o'clock, right over there. Yeah, it was about 20:30. So the time frame you have to use for this data to work is UTC plus 8. It does not update to your time frame. You will see that your time frame will be the same as mine. So just keep that in mind to have UTC plus 8. Here's something that's super, super fascinating. And when I saw this happen, I was like, okay, this indicator is clearly on a different level. Look at this. So when a lot of coins were added about 18 o'clock, the whales actually sold it right back down. You would have known this before the sell-off even happened. So what you can do is look at an uptrend, and if you see a lot of coins being added, typically there's going to be a sell-off. Now, when exactly did the bulk of coins get added? About 1825, 1820 to be precise. 1820 was just about the market top here, and then price fell 8%. Okay? What happened here was even more impressive at 2025. So 2020, 2025, the timestamp was here, like legit here. This called both market tops. I'm trying to find a box or something to coordinate it. I could probably just use the line array. I'll just use array, whatever. So actually the array sucks. Where is the box? Oh, it's this one. Perfect. Yeah. So here, guys, and I'm going to copy this one and paste it right here. Copy, paste. Yeah, perfect. So both of these two tops were essentially called by the large inflow from auction. So you can see now that it's a lot lower right now. But let's also look at the other two pairs to see if people added to these as well. You can see that auction to BUSD, a lot of it was also added at the time of 1820. So that's a very bearish signal. Auction to Bitcoin, a lot of it was added about 1825 as well. So essentially, what is this telling me? This is telling me that a whale saw auction rise. This is exactly what happened from the on-chain data directly on Binance, or basically Binance data. You can see that a bunch of auction was added, and across all 3 pairs, a lot of whales added coins onto the exchange and onto these pairs right here when they saw this pump. So bigger traders wanted to sell. And look, price hasn't even been close to those highs anytime recently, as you can see. So it's a super, super helpful indicator. But I also want to show the previous thing that I was looking at as well. So another coin, and the way I found this coin was I just looked at 24-hour gains. So I looked at this, and I wanted to go look at ARK. Now, ARK only has 1 pair. for spot, which makes our job a lot easier. We don't have to track multiple pairs. So I want you guys to look at this pair right here and watch just what happened after this crazy up move. So do you see this one positive bit right here? There's a bunch of outflow, and when this is negative, that means that coins are leaving this pair and being put elsewhere, potentially to earn an interest rate, to lend, or just private wallet, you name it. But we had a bunch of outflow, which was very bullish, and we had a pump with an increase in open interest. Then we had a massive jump in inflow. We went from outflow of negative 430,000 to positive, positive 371,000. So we had a ton of this coin being added. I think almost about 1 million in change. So 1 million of this token was added onto this, which is not a good sign if you're long. The ad happened at about 14 o'clock. Now look at this. If we look right here, what was 14 o'clock? 14 o'clock was the market top right about here. So what ended up happening, as crazy as this might seem, is the very jump. Look, it happened at 14 o'clock when we went positive with inflow. This jump, and especially at 14:30, there were a lot of tokens on here. That's a really, really good sign for you to short. So had you sold your spot tokens or shorted, you would have been looking at a potential profit of about 12%. How would you know to take profit? Well, look what happened. Look at the inflow outflow. A bunch of these coins just left the exchange, which means that people that wanted to sell probably already did so, and the guys that didn't, they withdrew from the exchange and from this pair. So what's the most bullish sign possible? This right here, where we went really negative to about negative 1 million. That means that about over the past 24 hours, almost 1 million ARK tokens have left this trading pair. That's pretty bullish. That means that there's not going to be that much supply, and there's probably going to be a lot more buying. That happened at about 20 o'clock, okay? 20 o'clock this time. That was here. Like near the market low, that's a really good time to buy. Why? Well, look at this. I mean, this is just a really good sign, isn't it? All that outflow right there, that's what you want to see. Negative 1 million, that means that, yeah, that's 1 million. Negative 1 million means that a bunch of it is leaving the exchange, and now it's back to that number again. This was very bullish, and I'm expecting this to be, bullish some more. So this is a super, super helpful indicator for just looking at these coins to see which ones you think will continue to increase and which coins might not. So let's go look at Loom. Loom has 3 different pairs, so we can look at that. Now, when you're deciding what pair has the most sway, well, what you're going to look at is, of course, the 24-hour volume. This is 662 million. To BTC, it's only 21 mil, and to the Turkish lira, it's only 74, or 74 is more than, yeah, it's 74 million. So Loom USDT is really the one that we probably care the most about. Let's go pull up a chart of Loom. So this has a lot of money in it. As you can see, the numbers here are much higher. I think that's a 9.2 mil. Yeah, that's 9,200,000. So almost 10 mil in inflow here. Let me interpret this for you guys. In the last 5 days, there's been a lot of outflow, which is typically very, very bullish because lowered supply means demand, which means price goes up typically. And in the past, what is it, like 3 or 4 days, price has gone up, as you can see, corresponding to this large inflow or outflow because it's negative. Then things changed. You can see that price has been pretty bullish, but now it looks like a lot of people are depositing coins onto the exchange. So let's go look at a few of these moves. One of them happened in mass at about 3:30 in the morning, this time zone, which didn't look to correspond to much. Maybe this just wasn't that much of an increase. Here was another interesting point when it was at its very top at 22 o'clock on the 27th. Oh, this was 3 a.m. This was 3 a.m. today. I saw the wrong 3 a.m. My bad. 22 o'clock. Yeah, 22 o'clock for here. That makes sense. Okay, I was wrong before. So 22 o'clock, we had a lot of inflow, and yeah, price did fall a little bit. So I think that this kind of strategy might work better with coins that aren't as big as something like Loom. This can also work on Bitcoin as well, because you can actually see when people are adding Bitcoin to the exchange. If you want to do that, you're going to type in BTC. You want to look at only the BTC pairs like these. And I know it's a lot, but you can actually look at how much Bitcoin's going into each one of these trading pairs, which is very, very powerful. So Bitcoin has had, not surprisingly, just a ton of outflow. This is in thousands of Bitcoin, which is a lot of money, need I say. So if we look at the spot rate of Bitcoin over the past, what is it, like past day, yeah, you can see that there's been just a bunch of outflow, which is very, very bullish. Now, the bulk of this happened, around here recently? So if I look at that, yeah, the bulk of it is happening around here. People are just withdrawing their Bitcoin, which is a pretty good sign. You can also look at things like Bitcoin to these other pairs, but again, it's probably best just to look from Bitcoin to Tether. Ethereum tells a bit of a different story, a bit more of a bearish story for sure. You can see that there was actually a large inflow right here, 1027, or about 1028 at midnight. So if we look at Ethereum, 1028 at midnight, yeah, look at that. There was a large inflow right here, and price fell, just like it had on Arc and on auction too. What happened here, guys? Well, what happened is that there were suddenly 10,000 more Ethereum being added to this exchange, and that's not good. You do not want a large amount of supply, and that large amount of supply was then sold off, as you can see from this chart right here. So with inflow, outflow, again, the way that you want to use this, I mean, you can do whatever you want with this, but I think the biggest alpha you can get from this is looking for very, very large changes. So if you guys remember that auction example, that was a really good example because whales were depositing so much into auction, so much inflow. This one right here, it was so rapid that price was just very, very likely to fall, as you can see with those two market tops here. So a coin like this has been pretty good. You can also look at the last 5 days of inflow outflow. You can see this is very, very bullish, and I'll bet you, yep, and the coin's been very, very bullish as well because of all this outflow. You can also look at this if you want to look at money flow analysis. This is more just market orders, not always the most helpful, I would say, but you can look at what are people doing with their market orders, with how aggressive. But I think that the best way to do this is to just look for coins coming in and coins going out. I think that's probably the best way to trade this. A large outflow like this was very aggressive. Someone withdrew a lot of auction at about 22 o'clock. And guess what? 22 o'clock would have been a pretty good time to buy, wouldn't you say? Right here, 22 o'clock, you buy and you're up money. So this is a very, very helpful indicator. I think it's pretty good on altcoins and smaller cap and medium cap coins, where you can essentially not just track whale activity, but know it to every 5 minutes with no delay, which is really, really good because then you can see exactly when a large player is about to deposit or withdraw a lot of a certain token. And that can give you a jump on before they begin to sell off or, buy a lot. So that's going to do it for today's video. I hope that this was helpful. To me, I am legitimately going to be using this every single day on any coin that I trade. So do keep that in mind. I would love to have alerts on this so I can see when a lot of tokens are being added to a certain pair. Like if I see a jump in inflow like this, I will happily just short auction here. That'd be very, very nice. If I see a bunch of outflow like this, then in the more medium term, I would want to long, and I would have longed, down there and made a lot that way. Super helpful indicator. That's going to do it. Happy trading, and I will see you guys next time.